North-South Connection Podcast Network. I'm sorry. We have failed you here at the Multiverse of Fabulousness as we failed to meet our contractual obligation to appear last month. But still, Jonnie was I and my partner in crime, Keithie Langston. Keithie, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I know that we got the phone call from Lord Alfred Hayes, and he said, "Oh, I want you all to know that you have been suspended indefinitely plus 1 year." So I guess we're all right now. So
I see Tunney called me and he was like, "May I have the phone, please?" Thank you, Howard. There were contractual arrangements that were met, but yes, it's episode.
Your Jack Tunney is so good. May I have the phone, please?
The winner of this event. Okay, so it's Multiverse of Fabulous episode 22. If you don't know, what we do is the show where we take a look at worlds of pop culture variants across the multiverse, which is what my producer told me to say. What we really do is play a game of Marvel's What If, but don't sue us, okay? So tonight's topic, Keith, I'm going to dive right into it because we didn't show up last month. And the banter will come as we discuss, because I know that's what everybody's here for. But, Eric Bischoff wrote a book once called Controversy is King. I think that's accurate. But here, 10, 20 years later, there's a new C word in town that's king. Content.
Oh, okay.
What are you thinking?
I don't know what I'm thinking.
Content is king. With that in mind, we're traveling to Earth TV, where somehow through the power of black magic or what have you, the WWE network WWE is, they make movies, pal. Tonight, the WWE and just professional wrestling, the business in general, makes television programs. Tonight, Keithie and myself have 5 different television programs that we are going to pitch you. You are the studio. We are the writers. We're not, well, I'm on strike now, but I wasn't when I wrote these.
Neither was I.
Okay, good deal. Yeah. So essentially,
I ain't no scab. Let's put it that way.
That's right. I don't want no scabs. A scab is a guy who's probably named Brad. That didn't rhyme. We've got 5 different genres of television shows to pitch you, all original ideas, but here's the caveat. They all star pro wrestling, sports entertainment-based independent contractors from throughout history. What does that mean?
Goodness.
If you want Jake the Snake from 1987 to star in a TV show with Macho Man from TNA that one time he was there, you can do it. It doesn't matter that he's dead. I mean, it matters to me, but it doesn't matter to the story, okay?
Matters to Macho Man.
Now, here's what I'm going to do is, normally we try to keep things secret. I'm just going to tease you with the 5 genres so you don't click away or stop listening, depending on where you're listening to this, all right? So tonight, we're going to pitch you a sitcom, a police procedural, a reality show, a teen drama, and a prestige television program. Something you'd find on like HBO or Apple Plus, where they actually spent money and didn't reuse the Saved by the Bell sets.
Prestige worldwide. Okay.
I swore. What is HBO's logo or their noise? Bam, bam, bam.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, no one in the world will talk to me about this except you. You ever watch anything on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the Netflix jingle? Bum,
yeah.
Bum. Is that or is that not Christian's song? Bum, bum. If you close your eyes, never to be. Every time I watch something on Netflix, I go, if you close your eyes. Right after the thing, and then I move on with my life.
It could be.
Okay.
There only is a limited number of musical notes in the world, in the universe. So
that's what Ed Sheeran said, and I'm taking his word for it.
That's right.
Because we're both pasty-ass redheads.
That's right.
All right, so here...
you soulless ginger. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Here on the North-South Connection Project Podcast Network, sorry, folks, it's kicking in. We, of course, worship snake style. This is just my attempt to flex for everybody out there.
Snake
but
man.
It's snake style. So we'll do a snake just like they do on the drafts. I'm so pissed. I missed the Guardians of the Galaxy draft, by the way.
Yeah.
But anywho, we're going to flip a coin, and I'm going to go first.
All right.
And then you'll go second, and then you'll go third, and I'll go fourth.
All right.
So I'm starting with the sitcom. And Keithie, did you invent titles for your shows?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So did I. Now I'm going to try not to read from my notes, but I also don't want to miss anything. So I'm going to try to like do that thing where people do presentations where they're like, and then you'll see that our profits will increase.
Double in size.
I think they were going to, like, you come here in front of the board to say our profits are going to decrease. So my sitcom, Keithie, is called Profit Sharing.
Oh, God.
Spelled the traditional way. So my synopsis for this show is, on the day of his 40th birthday, Bobby the Fuel, like gasoline, Fuller, retires from his career as a professional basketball player. Now, this man's achieved multiple championships, and he's got a small fortune saved up. He purchases a plot of land in his old hometown where he can get away from life in the big city and just be by himself on a dream estate that he's always envisioned. He hastily closes the land deal, disappears for 4 months on a crazy European bender, comes back to his palatial mansion, which has just been built, and sees all these signs not letting him in. Apparently, while he was gone, the city voted to rezone the land, and it's now a manufactured housing domicile event. Flywheel. A trailer park. Now, rather than give up his dream house, he hastily recruits his old high school basketball team, buys them each a trailer, and moves them in. When they're not trying to outwit the crusty old mayor by convincing them that they are an active, real trailer park, these boys often find themselves caught up in many harebrained schemes. Now, we didn't do the rules because I'm a fucking, like I said, it's kicking in. So here's the thing: we're gonna pitch you the title, the synopsis. We're gonna tell you who the cast is. But we're also gonna give you the hook for season 1 in hopes that you pick us up.
Okay.
The season 1 hook: when a young woman and her high school basketball star son need a place to live, Bobby learns that it might be worth it to share some of his profits. Now, in case you haven't guessed it, Bobby the Fuel Fuller, the retired basketball player, is Kevin Nash. The Fuel, Diesel. He's kind of the straight man. He's kind of a know-it-all. He's an asshole, hates people. What are you doing talking to me? Now, his high school buddies that move in, first character's name is Ramon. He's the rowdy one of the group, played by Heyo. They've got a friend named Stump. Stump. He's the tough guy, played by Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Okay.
They also have a female friend, Buffy Buick. She's the former head cheerleader of the basketball team, played by Sunny. And then the brains of the operation, they call him Super, because his name is Nick Tendo. Played by AJ Styles.
Oh, God.
Because he's the brains. Now, I said they often come into conflict with the crusty old Dean. Or the crusty old Dean. Well, that's the fucking trope I'm using. But the crusty mayor. The mayor's name is Mayor Crinkle Cut, and it's played by Lord Alfred Hayes.
Oh, nice.
And the single mom that moves into the trailer park is Tori Wilson. She doesn't have a name. So, I'll freely admit, it's not my best work, but I like the idea of Nash being in his house at the beginning of each episode being like, all right, time to do the thing I do. And then, hey, yo, the door opens and it's, and the crowd's like, yeah, and he's waiting and then he's like, okay, come on, man. I don't know. And you got Steiner. It's just, I'm sure you can envision it. It has a laugh track, obviously, but that's it. I will done.
Or it's fine. It's filmed in front of a live studio audience. So
that's right. So, what are your thoughts? Just broad.
I mean, the only thing that the title of the show made me think is when you were talking about profits. I was like, oh, it'd be awesome if he was like, if it had like a twist, like a religious twist, like he was like maybe his friends that move in are prophets, like reincarnated prophets.
I gotcha.
That would be, but that's just because of the word prophet. It has nothing to do with, it actually makes more sense once you explained it. So I'm on board. I'm on board to see Super Nick Tendo, to be honest with you.
Well, I figured AJ Styles would be great as because in this group, he would be the smart one.
Yeah.
Guys, guess what I found?
I'm glad you left out Shawn Michaels and X-Pac. I'm very happy with that. So
I can't handle them, Jack. Like,
yep.
I can't do it. I originally was going to name it after like the tax form that's necessary to claim like retirement funds.
Now, see, that's even funnier. What's the name of the form?
1099 something. No, I don't know. But then I was like, but that's not an original Johnny C gag because I'm stealing that from other people.
No, but I like that though. That's funny. But yeah, no, I like that show. I'd watch that show. Absolutely.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm on board. All right, so I'm up for my sitcom. Okay. My sitcom is called Stepping Up to the Boss. All right. Or just Stepping Up, depending on which one you prefer at the network.
One sounds like a UPN show, the other doesn't.
It does, right? Andre the Giant, a French immigrant who owns and operates a French bakery and pastry shop. He moves to America to pursue his dream of taking his father's shop international. The name of the shop is Boulangerie Colossale, which translates into Colossal Bakery. He gets married. His wife is Karen Jarrett. His new wife, who has 3 kids with her former husband. She is a school teacher who met Andre when he set up a fundraiser for all the local charities. Her ex-husband is Jeff Jarrett, obviously. Her stuffy ex-husband, who not only does he not like Andre messing around with his kids, but he also has celiac disease. And that's a joke because Andre's a baker. So Andre's always going, how would you like a nice fresh loaf of bread? Damn it, Andre, you know I can't eat that bread.
Oh, I know you can't eat the bread. I don't like you.
Now, I didn't cast wrestlers as the children in this, but I did cast famous actors and actresses through time. So their oldest son is Louis Jarrett, who Andre is always calling him Louis. And he is a miserable college freshman because he's not sure what he wants to do with his life, but he knows what he really doesn't want to do, and that's continue going to college. And it's starring a young William Zabka, fresh off of Karate Kid 1. So this is right after his Johnny Lawrence days. Their middle child is Emily Jarrett, who Andre's always calling her Emily. And she is a young teenager who's turning 16, who loves her mother, but she's still upset that her father is not in her life as much anymore. She likes boys and wants to date, but none of the boys want to come home because of the beast in the house. And it's starring Lizzie Kaplan, probably of the Freaks and Geeks era, so when she's still like young enough, you know. And then the youngest child is Olivia Jarrett, and Andre is always mispronouncing her name as Olive. And she is a young teen, probably around 12 or so, who's very nice to Andre and is in fact learning French in school so she can talk with her new stepfather. And she's played by Sadie Sink, who was in Stranger Things. Yeah. So the plot of the show is that Andre now married, and this is his step family, thus stepping up to the boss. And it's all the typical sitcom stuff that happens, like, you know, issues with using the bathroom. They live in a small apartment that's above the bakery. Andre is always bumping his head on the dormer of the staircase when he goes down to work. And then he shouts out, merde! And they don't bleep it because nobody knows what merde means in English. And the first season hook is that Andre works with Karen and Jeff to help them understand that Louis is not happy in college, and he actually loves and is very talented as a pastry chef. And this is Andre's dream because he always wanted to have a son take over for him one day. The finale is that he offers Louis a full-time job in the shop, and it's a cliffhanger because we don't get an answer from Louis until season 2.
My son ain't gonna be no pastry filler, I tell you what. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, you've seen me trying to not disrupt my partner by having a laughing fit, but like I love Andre the Giant is perfect for that sort of thing. And just the idea of watching a show with a laugh track where he's like, where like people are trying to like, it's like, he'll be like, well, you know, la, blah, 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 and then the laugh track kicks in, but then, you know, everybody's like, oh, was it? You just get to fucking stand it. It's brilliant.
That's right. Like you think of like the old lady who's coming into the shop to get bread, and she
Yeah.
walks in and hello, lady, and then and she falls over, and
he looks at the camera.
Yep. I don't know what I did wrong. So and then constantly mispronouncing the kids' names, and it's a good time.
No, that I'm insanely jealous. Which is the highest compliment I can give a human being
thank you
in this
very
life.
much.
In this life. Like I don't know what else to say. Like Andre the Giant's voice was made for a bad laugh track sitcom.
I don't know why you laugh at me. I'm French.
Yes.
Ooh, can he get stuck in line at the BMV one episode?
Of course.
I gotta go. Things are really cooking.
I have a souffle in the oven. If I don't get out now, it would drop.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like everything's done, and he goes over to take his picture, and the camera won't reach. And
Yep. Oh God, you got it exactly. This is exactly it. Yes.
All right. And then finally at the end of the episode, he hugs Karen. He's like, "Wow, I got my driver light on," and it's just his torso.
Yes. Thank you. You get you get me.
It's so fucking funny.
And then it just ends with like a da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Why does this not exist?
Well, Andre's dead.
Oh yeah,
so that's not gonna happen.
I will say this: Hulk Hogan's. If you are also like driving a car and holding in laughter, you watch Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, because it's. I mean, it's not, but it's like that's the only time you're gonna get Andre the Giant's voice in a sitcom. And I'm doing the finger quotes thing.
Right.
When you said Lizzie Kaplan, I have been enjoying Paramount Plus's Fatal Attraction.
I love Lizzie Kaplan.
No, she's great.
Yeah.
Joshua Jackson is in that, and I'm a big Dawson's Creek mark.
Mm.
That's the whole story. I don't know why I brought it up again.
It's all right.
All right, so again.
Now it's my turn to give you my police procedural.
The snake demands
it. Good snake. Okay, you ready? In the criminal justice system, wrestling-based offenses are considered special offenses. In Stamford, Connecticut, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Wrestling Crimes Unit. These are their stories. Dun dun.
Wrestling-based offenses is my favorite phrase of all time. And I apologize.
Law and Order, WCU, Wrestling Crimes Unit. This is the fucking dumbest one. Because I'm Googling wrestlers that had law enforcement gimmicks. So.
Wait. What did you Google? Say it again.
Wrestlers that have law enforcement gimmicks.
I Googled the same fucking thing.
I knew it, right? Okay. Well, as soon as you said police procedural, I go, oh God, there's only one of two things we could do. It's either Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Law and Order. So, okay.
Yeah.
So I figure we're going to have a lot of overlap on this one, but it's going to be interesting to see where we placed the overlap.
Sure.
All right. So the big boss man is the captain of the unit. Is he your captain?
Keep going.
He leads the team throughout the series, assigning cases and crimes. He is a caring but stern boss who cares about his subordinates. Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker is the hothead of the group. He has lots of suspensions for aggressive behavior towards suspects. One more time and you're out of here is often heard around the bullpen. Fandango and Tyler Breeze are the young rookies of the force. They tend to mess up their cases, and they need the veterans to help clean up their mess. The Mountie and Sheriff Steve Austin, these are the grizzled veterans who are always the solid men on the force. They have the most callers and always get their man. Clarence Mason is the assistant district attorney who works closely with the WCU. He is a no-nonsense player who wheels and deals with all the public defenders. And of course, IRS is the forensic accountant whose main goal is to investigate the mafia and come up with a RICO case against his main antagonist, you guessed it, Rico Constantino. The main plot each week is there's another crime happening in the arena of the WWE show that's going on, and our fearless investigators need to solve the crime and bring the criminals to justice. And the hook for the first season is IRS working to bring down Rico Constantine using his CIs or criminal informants, JTG and Shad, otherwise known as Crime Time.
Dude, that's okay. Like, yes, I want to say this. It's
ludicrous.
but absolute perfect placement of those gimmick-based characters. Like, it works so much. It's like I could see it. It's like, and their informants, whip pan to like them standing in front of a brick wall. Crime time.
That's right.
You know, and great pull with the fashion police. I didn't remember them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so glad you used Clarence Mason because I had Clarence penciled in, but erased it because I needed a woman. And, because I don't know. I want to make one thing very clear. When I say that, I say it because it just makes sense in a reality-based narrative.
Of course.
I'm just saying, like, it's silly to not do it. No, I'm not saying yours is. I'm just saying, like, wrestling-based offenses aside, because that made me laugh. I get the humor. I get the humor in the situation, but I would watch it. That's the thing.
Sure.
That's so funny, and I'm really glad you went the NYP or not the Law and Order route because I wanted to, and then I started getting a little off the rails. And yours could be serious, but it's got the title.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love the idea of it being straight laced, where they're like in the back of the arena taking things very seriously, like call Taker. We need to get the judge. Bump bump, and it flashes like Wrestler's Court, 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, JBL is he's the defender.
Undertaker's like, it's time to find out who's the phony tough and who the crazy brave. I think he said that.
I always get the whenever a title belt would get stolen by like another, but whoever's challenging the champion.
Right. God
damn. They gotta call
They
gotta call the WCU.
See, yours is the right type of like, and you could do it so low budget. Like, why not do a web series or something like that? I would watch it.
That would absolutely be a hit on YouTube or even on the network.
Every time they do not every time, they've only done it a few times, but during WrestleMania season, I kept saying like, well, when are they going to release a new trailer, like a new movie parody? I just think people like seeing those guys and gals do stuff like that.
Sure, absolutely.
And yours has completely captured the tone of what you could do. Oh, well, Boss Man's dead, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody else is alive, I believe.
But again, highest praise. I was jealous with the first one, but what you've captured is the perfect tone of what actually would be a great, cost-effective, like content-based idea. There's one for the fucking history books. Content-based idea. Put that in the wrestling-based offense. Jesus Christ, I sound like Eric Bischoff. Yeah, I fly planes. Space. I mean, it's not really a thing I do. It's who I am. All right. Well, I like acronyms.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So my show is called Captain, but it's with a dot in between each letter because it stands for something.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Synopsis is Georgia detective Ray Traylor, played by the Big Boss Man, has been pursuing an escaped convict known only as Nails. And and this is like the goddamn first episode. What the hell is it? Pilot episode.
Yeah.
He tracks him to the U.S.-Canadian border at Niagara Falls. I hope there is one. Now, he's out of his jurisdiction. Try to say jurisdiction without sounding drunk. No,
jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction, yes.
All right. Because Nails crosses over the border. And Ray follows suit. But now he's way out of his jurisdiction. He can't find a pharmacy that'll refill his prescription for medications that quell his outbursts of rage, which is why he's been suspended numerous times. And one more time, trailer, and you're out of here. All right. So he's truly at the end of his rope. He finally finds Nails. But given his mental state, he's no match for Nails.
Oh.
Enter the scene. The elite secret police force known only as Captain. Captain! They work for us, so you don't have to. Canadian, American, police, team, assembled, inside Niagara.
Okay.
So they're like an elite super force.
Yeah, an elite squad of special victims unit.
Yes. They work off of a secret charter between both Canadian and United States government. Captain polices what's known as the line. And they manage special cases that require joint intervention. Now, after rescuing Ray Traylor from Nails, the commissioner of Captain offers Ray a job. And inspired by, Ray's sort of like pursuit of justice and the way he handled himself. And even though Ray feels right away that he's going to butt heads with the police commissioner, commissioner's kind of by the book. Ray doesn't always play by the rules.
That's right.
He accepts, though. And the hook of season 1 is the team spends the entire season investigating gang-related crimes perpetrated by a group known as the Posse. When they finally apprehend the Posse's leader, the leader reveals that the Posse are only pawns in this large organized crime gang here at the border. The name of their true enemy is the Hart Foundation. So let me introduce the team of Captain. Detective Ray Traylor, big boss man. That's me doing the stick, the nice stick. Inspector Jacques Rousseau, leader of the Mounted Corps. The Mountie, of course. Lieutenant Ricky Martel. It's like Strike Force, and no, you'll notice these are American and Canadian superstars, by the way.
Yes.
Ricky Martin, it's like the Strike Force. I've been hanging out with you too long.
Strike Force.
He's like the Strike Force version of Rick Martel, and he's always got a windbreaker and glasses. It's like, he's sliding over cars. Special agents of the Highway Patrol, Lieutenant James Earl Wright, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, road-based offenses. The Niagara Falls District Attorney is Renee Young. Canadian.
There you go. Yeah.
And the hard-headed commissioner of the police force, boss man, stack in line. I'm the president of Captain. It was Jack Tunney on the take.
The president of Captain.
Now, there, of course, as we mentioned, a couple of special guest stars in season 1. The Posse is played by Rodney, Pete Gas, Joey Abs, and their leader's the British Bulldog. That is an actual Survivor Series team.
Yes, it is, unfortunately.
And special guest star only appears in the last scene of the season finale as the leader of the Hart Foundation. I'll tell you what, Keith, he's a fan of Rhinos. It's Stu Hart.
Damn it.
And of course, the Hart Foundation would be various members of the actual Hart family at different levels of law breaking.
Sure.
Maybe who's the one that everybody hates? Bruce Hart. Yeah, maybe he's like a crack dealer, but and Anvil's a bodyguard, into the Red Room or the whatever, and then in the room is of course Bret Hart.
The Red Room.
What's the Red Room from?
The Red Room is what's that? Black Widow.
Thank you.
Where it's like they trained all the Russian agents.
Yes.
I love it. The Red Room. I love it. That's the name for the dungeon. The Red Room. Perfect.
But yeah, that's sort of it. So it reminds me of that old cartoon, Cops. Fighting crime in a future time cops.
Time cops.
I
love it. Yeah.
But I do think it's funny. We both use Boss Man. Did you use Mountie, right?
Yeah, I had Mountie in there.
Yeah. And just the Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we all had Buddy Lee Parker. I wanted somebody that was like a hothead so that they could get yelled at a lot. That's why I went with Buddy Lee Parker. So.
I thought about adding one more person to the special agents of the Highway Patrol, even though they weren't a Highway Patrol gimmick, but Lieutenant James Earl Wright, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. I'll give you $1 if you can guess who the third one was. Lieutenant Wright, Sergeant Parker.
Lieutenant Wright, Sergeant Parker. Is it like Colonel DeBeers?
Colonel DeClerc. But I didn't want to do another Colonel DeClerc joke because I promised I wouldn't. All right.
Nice. I love it.
So up next is a reality show. I kept mine a little short because I wanted to go into my prestige a little bit more. So the reality show is called in your house.
Oh, God. No.
Synopsis. Cameras invade your house as families compete for a cash prize of $50,000. How do you win? Simple. Each week, a different family is joined by a very special house guest, some of the most outrageous WWF superstars of all time. And if they break you, you don't win. Meaning, if you kick them out of the house, you don't get the money. Now, why would you kick them out of the house? The wrestlers are not allowed to break character.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
So if a family can last all week without kicking superstar out of the house, they win. Season 1 guests include Kamala, Ric Flair, Bastion Booger, The Undertaker, Colonel Rob Parker and his friends, Hollaby, Skinner, the Honky Tonk Man, and in the season finale, the Black Scorpion. Now, keep in mind, it's just the Black Scorpion come to life. I mean, I'm talking about like a guy who casts a shadow as he walks. So
God. Good Lord.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, you know, I'm not saying it's good, but I am saying I can imagine each one of those people ruining your day in multiple ways every day.
Absolutely. 1,000%. That's funny.
You know, you come home and Ric Flair's in bed. You see what you're doing? You're in Space Mountain, baby. And he's like with your spouse or significant other, and I mean, you know, or maybe he's with your daughter. I mean,
I'm just thinking Flair's just walking around with his balls hanging out the whole time. You know?
Boy, I don't understand what the problem is, Keithie. I was told that I was going to be in your house, and I'm in your house.
This is what I do in my house.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know why my Ric Flair sounds Canadian all of a sudden. Religion is sport.
It's your Rick Hart. Ric Flair Stu Hart.
16 times I've been the man, Stu. Mm-hmm. I'm the man in this house.
Much better. Oh, God. All right. So my reality show, I was going to go with something like Survivor. And then I went, no, I don't want to do Survivor. So I have WWE softball. Oh, yeah.
If he's not the star, he's got to be the host.
Team captain is Psycho Sid, and his team consists of Veer Mahan, Steve Mongo McMichael, Titus O'Neil, Bill Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Steve Austin, Monty Brown, and Lex Luger. That's the starting 9 of that team. Opposing them is team captain Randy Savage with Vader, Brock Lesnar, Big Show, The Rock, Ron Simmons, Giant Gonzalez, Bobby Lashley, and Ken Shamrock. The premise of this show is the two teams play each other in an epic softball tournament, which is best of 7, to see who the true players in the game are. Player! And the hook of the first season is that there is a possibility after game 3 of a 4-player trade, but it's all random.
Wow.
So you could have Kevin Nash get traded from Psycho Sid's team to Randy Savage's team, but then Kevin Nash gets traded back to Psycho Sid's team. It's all random.
He just sits there the whole time with his wine.
Yep.
Back where I ended up.
And Bob Uecker is the play-by-play guy, and Jesse Ventura is the color man.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. I love the idea of like the reality stint to it as well, because it's like you know, during the middle of a game, you just got Vader. He's like, and like in the outfield, and it's not like he's doing something. It's just like, and Savage is watching him like, because that's how Vader is. Like,
yes. And I went with all wrestlers who had actual athletic backgrounds. So.
When I heard Monty Brown, I was like, there's got to be something here. Yeah. And then I heard the next team, and I was like, I think all those guys had their jerseys retired in Tijuana State.
That's right. Yes. So, yeah. So WWE softball. Catch it on ESPN 8. ESPN 8, The Ocho.
Catch it.
Oh, I didn't even realize I said catch it. Yes, catch it on ESPN 8.
WWF softball.
Catch it on ESPN 8, The Ocho.
All right, Pettingale, I need you to say catch it because you're a catcher.
Okay. So, moving on to our teen drama.
Oh, yes.
This is My So-Called Kayfabe. All right? It stars Alexa Bliss, who is the protagonist, who is your typical teen goth kid who doesn't have many friends except for her dolls, Lily and Rocco, who talk to her when she's alone, giving her advice. Lily is voiced by Sensational Sherry, and Rocco is voiced by Mankind. John Cena, who plays her love interest, but he's currently mixed up in a relationship with Lita, who is cheating on him with Sting.
Sting!
Alexa's best friend is Raven, who's always looking to get close to her, but that's only because he's sexually confused and maybe in love with Jeff Hardy. The plot of the show is that it's sophomore year of high school, and all the kids are struggling through their emotions and algebra. And the hook of the hook is during the sophomore dance, where John sees Lita making out with Sting and runs to talk to Alexa, who was picked as his biology lab partner. So there's that relationship they're building, and of course the cliffhanger in this is Raven and Jeff Hardy share an awkward kiss, which the principal sees, and the principal is Vince McMahon. Coming to the CW this fall. My so-called kayfabe.
I am so fucking jealous. Like, I think the reason why is that instead of you not only leaned into like tropes of the genre that are the most fun ones to like lean into, but you fit in so much of each person's personality. Like, I totally see Jeff Hardy as the guy who's just like, Raven's like, Jeff, I need to talk to you. Okay. And I know you wouldn't do that, like, in reality, but like Jeff Hardy is the kid who's like, Jeff, Raven's like, Jeff, I think I love you.
Sure.
Okay.
What? Let's go do drugs, man.
Yeah, like, just okay. Like, but Jeff Hardy is that character. Like, if he was a teenage heartthrob, he'd be like the kid who's like in the corner, but he's in the corner because he wants to be, not because he doesn't have friends.
You know what the best part is that instead of Raven, I almost cast Midian. And then I was like, I can't see Midian making up with Jeff Hardy.
Raven's so much better. And I love that it finally, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of ECW, but if that was like an actual thing, like in wrestling was like serious, like the Raven character totally makes sense.
Sure.
Like, and I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not trying to deal in stereotypes, but I'm very serious. Like, it would have been very revolutionary. It would have never worked because the crowd would have booed him because it was 1990, whatever. But like, I kind of love it because isn't he like a spoiled rich kid who acts like he's like in Nirvana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole gimmick, I believe. Yeah.
Right. He goes so far to be something he's afraid of admitting that he is.
That's right.
And he shouldn't be, Raven.
Thus why he tries to get close to Alexa Bliss in a kind of ducky way from
Rocco.
And Rocco.
I mean, when you said
how many dolls are there in wrestling?
Her doll's name's Lily, right?
Yeah, her doll's Lily.
So when you said Lily, I was like, oh, in my head I said, oh, that's a great poll. And then you added Rocco. And like the thing is I was like, Lily was the good poll, but you took it one deeper. Like, you had me at Lily and Rocco.
And that's only because Pete made me watch so much friggin' WWF 92 that we had to sit through all the Rocco vignettes. And then whenever we were watching one night and the fucking doll started talking, I was like, get me out of here. Where are we?
Have you seen it before?
Yeah, in 1992.
Oh, okay.
It had been 20-something years.
I got you. Man, that is good. And seriously, like, I said it before, and it wasn't like a gag. Like, the highest praise I can give someone is saying I'm jealous.
No, of course, thank you. I appreciate it.
Because I like to fancy I mean, I don't. That's kind of the gimmick. Like, I like to fancy
myself a bit of a
creative type, but then it's like, wow, like, I see how much more the little details add.
You know what the thing is that I probably ingest a lot more gummies than you do. So you know.
Oh no, it's okay. Well, again, like I don't want to shortchange it, but I'm in love. Like I'm in love. Like I don't know what else to say. Like I think it's tremendous. And I love that because Vince, like this work, it works on just being stupid. Like, but also Vince, the character, is the character who would be like, I'm not okay with this, pal. Anyway.
This is a Catholic school.
Right. Exactly. Well, it's so funny. Was Vince in anything you'd said before?
No.
Okay, so how crazy is it that I'll say this about brand synergy? We both used Vince in our teen drama.
Nice.
All right. So what does that say about Vince McMahon, the character?
He's a perfect. I was almost surprised he wasn't the stuffy mayor.
Oh, sure.
But I was like, you know who I thought you were going to say was the stuffy mayor was Eric Bischoff.
Oh, well, I wanted the crusty old mayor to have a voice. Like,
all right, good.
Know,
yeah.
I wanted that to be the thing because Nash is like, ugh. Oh, Kevin, I have spoken to you about this. Like
several times, and you keep doing it. One more time, and you're out of here.
Yeah, I'm floored, man. Like, kudos.
Thank you.
Kudos.
Well, let's come on, tit for tat. Let's go. It's your teen drama.
Now, mine is very the WB presents. Like, it's very 1997.
I don't want to wait.
It's
for my life to be over.
I actually envision the theme song as being "'Cause you're everywhere."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what year that is, but the show is very 97, and that's the theme song. And that people like if it starred James Vanderbeek, it'd be like James Vanderbeek, like it'd be say James Vanderbeek, "'Cause you're everywhere to me." It's called Greenwich Public. Two teenage siblings, Shane and Stephanie, are set to begin their junior year of high school as students in the Greenwich, Connecticut public school system for the first time in their lives. See, the twins previously attended a prestigious private academy. I heard they even had a wrestling tutor at the age of 3. But when the family finds themselves affected by a financial crisis, you see, Shane and Stephanie's father recently passed, and the funds of the family are in chaos. So one of the easy things they can do is pull them out of, Greenwich Catholic and send them to Greenwich Public just for a few semesters.
Right.
Now, as if the pain and trauma of wondering if the family was going to even stay afloat wasn't enough, of course they're mourning the loss of their father, but Shane and Stephanie are kind of outcasts, amongst the new peers here at Greenwich Public. You see, Shane is a crew rower, and there's no crew team at Greenwich Public. Stephanie's equestrian, but they don't have stables at Greenwich Public. All right. But a lifeboat appears in the form of a couple of fast friends that Shane makes that help Shane and Stephanie integrate with one of the cliques in school. They're friends with Zack Ryder and Austin Theory.
Oh.
The school's resident social media star. He'd be like, he walks up, "Hey, we got some new kids here," because it's like the fucking Ghostbusters movie had a kid named Podcast, and I wanted to slip my wrist.
Yeah.
Some kid would be, but I did say it was 97, but the premise is 97. Fuck you. That's the person who caught me in my fumble, not you.
Okay.
Austin Theory is like the school jock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, Stephanie McMahon, though, has her own troubles. She's struggling with her burgeoning attraction to her new English teacher.
Oh.
Played by special guest star Stacy Keibler.
Oh.
So like the 97 soap opera-y stuff, you get the two highlights. You get the teacher student, which is wrong. I'm not saying, but Miss Jacobs and Pacey's pretty legendary.
Sure.
And the forbidden love of 1997. Season one hook, the twins' mother, played by special guest star Linda McMahon, begins to date a former employee of her late husband, special guest star Bruce Pritchard. And in the season finale, we learn that not only is the twins' father, special guest star Vince McMahon, still alive, he appears to be being held captive in a secret location by Linda herself. It's like really soap opera-y at the end there, like season 5 Melrose Place or whatever.
Absolutely.
So yeah, wow. And the only thing I didn't mention is because we need more. There needs to be more than just like one female high school character. Stephanie would become fast friends with Sasha Banks' character, who's the head of the wrestling team.
Oh. Okay.
So like a very like now world,
Yeah.
but a very 97 level of melodrama.
Right.
Like
Right.
very 97 melodrama.
I dig it. I like it. I like the forbidden love being like just two lesbian love.
Right.
Like,
well, because
like,
it's 97. You
that
know?
would be, yeah. Lesbians were hot back then.
Right.
Now it's like, well, now it's transgender love is the new.
Well, this also kind of, as I'm reading it, it makes me feel like it's a cheap, like, did you ever see Cruel Intentions 2?
No.
Okay, so Cruel Intentions 2 is like 4 episodes of a TV show that Fox greenlit called Manchester Prep, which was a prequel series to Cruel Intentions that didn't get picked up, so they turned the 4 episodes into a 2-hour movie. Now,
oh, wow. Okay.
I've seen it because I went to the video store like every Friday, but you'll never guess who stars as the Sarah Michelle Gellar character.
Isn't it Mila Kunis?
It is not. You're thinking American Psycho 2.
Oh, okay.
When she's like, because that's the bastardization sequel that she's in.
Yeah, okay. Who's in Cruel Intentions 2?
So the
Electric
Sarah Michelle
Boogaloo.
Gellar character is played by Lois Lane herself, Amy Adams.
Oh God, really?
Before
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made that face.
you have unkind things to say about Amy Adams.
I guess I'm not going to to save our friendship, so sure.
What are we talking about? It doesn't matter. Never mind. You don't think she's good as Lois Lane?
Oh, it's got nothing to do with her, the character. I'm not that huge of a fan of her as an actress.
Okay.
Give me Isla Fisher, her doppelganger, and I'll take her any day of the week and twice on Saturdays. But
Sure.
no, it's just Amy Adams she kind of annoyed me when she started I didn't like her when she was in the Muppet movie and really kind of everything after that.
Oh, I think she's great. No, that's fine. Like
it's just it's a preference thing. It's a preference thing, But
see,
that's fine.
I like the tone she hit. We're way off base, but I mean, look, It's not like I'm glad she was able to have love. I like it could be her Lois Lane could be heightened by the fact that I feel like one thing, and I know a lot of people don't, and I'm not here to sit on the Snyder cult because the Snyder cult bugs the shit out of me too, even though I'm a fan. The fact that the script allowed her to figure out the identity of Superman in like 4 days is exactly how Lois Lane should be written.
Yeah, I will actually agree with you on that because it always irritated me throughout all of time that Superman was just like,
right.
Who's that? Oh, there's Superman. Who's that guy?
Some of the best modern DC stories have benefited a lot from coming to the realization that Lois Lane is just as powerful as some of the heroes, but because she is she's like the most well-known reporter in the United States. And, I'm just saying, like, she carries a reputation. Like, it makes real world sense if that was the thing. Anyway.
Right.
Wow, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So, do I finish with my prestige?
Do you want to?
I don't remember the order.
No. This is your time, but I know you said you spent a lot on your prestige. So if you want to close the show with prestige, I'll go with mine first.
All right, but I really hope it lives up to the hype you just gave it.
Well, you said you worked on it for a long time, so.
Well, okay. I did admit that.
Well, do you want to go first then? Are you scared? Are you scared?
Oh, I ain't scared of shit.
All right. Well, let me go.
Like spiders.
Yeah. All right. So, and like I said, all right. So to pull back the curtain a little bit for anybody that's listening, when you gave me the prestige style, you said think HBO.
Yeah, and that could be anything. If you want to do something crazy like robots in Westworld, dragons in House of it doesn't have to be. It could be anything.
No, and that's the thing is that I mean, every show I thought of that's like an HBO or Showtime or whatever, everyone it came back to Sopranos. And I said, I feel like I'm cheating because I could probably write a Sopranos style show for any universe you gave me, just because it's how much I love the show and how much I was indoctrinating myself with that show.
Sure.
So I went with it. Okay. So The name of the show, Minnesota Wild. All right.
Is that the name of the hockey team?
It is the name of the hockey team, yes.
Okay.
But that's okay. The
No,
Sopranos.
that's great. It's brilliant because HBO would be like, "Isn't that so clever?"
Yeah.
Or FX. It'd be an FX thing.
You know what? This really is like, it's like a Fargo. This really is more Fargo than
Sopranos.
Sopranos.
It made me think of Fargo.
Yeah, it really is more Fargo.
FX.
Yeah, it's more Fargo than Sopranos, but it still works. Starring AWA owner Vern Gagne. I'm going to give you the cast first, okay?
Oh.
And then I'm going to tell you how they break down.
Is it like Dallas?
Kind of. Vern Gagne, Hulk Hogan, Greg Gagne, Jesse Ventura, Bobby Heenan, Colonel De Beers, Rick Martel, Larry Zabisco, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Henning, Kurt Henning, Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff, Crusher Khrushchev, and Jerry Lawler. All right?
Much like The Sopranos, a huge cast that you don't even remember until they show up for the 2 episodes they do in each season.
The plot is very basically The Sopranos in Minnesota. So it's a mafia mob crew in Minnesota. All right? Vern is the boss of the whole family, and he dies in the 3rd episode. And now there's a power struggle between the 2 captains, the 2 top captains, who are Gene Gagne, the heir apparent, and Nick Bockwinkel, who is the original gangster. If Pete Winston would tell you, he's the original OG. So the breakdown of the crews are as follow. You got Gene Gagne as the boss. You got his consigliere is Hulk Hogan. You got,
of course,
Colonel De Beers is his button man. And you got Rick Martel and Larry Zabisco are the guys that run his numbers. And on Nick Bockwinkel, you got his consigliere is Bobby Heenan. Jesse Ventura is his button man. And Larry Henning is teaching his son Kurt how to run numbers and how to run the casino above the barbershop. All right. Now, Ivan Koloff is the boss of the other family who wants to move into the Minnesota territory with his boys, Nikita and Crusher. And Jerry Lawler is the Hesh of the group, so he's like the advisor trying to keep the peace between the 2 hotheads, Gene and Nick. And the hook of the first season, which ends on the finale, is the encroachment of,
"Hey, fella, hey, I got myself a cigarette running scam up here in Calgary. Hey, and I'm getting and I get my guy that I have from Montreal there, Dino Bravo, comes over. Hey, and we eat eggs, and I flip the eggs and the pancakes with the same spatula that I flip the cactus shit out of. And hey, it's Stu Hart and the entire Hart family in the Hart Dungeon. And we got cigarettes running all the way from Calgary to Nova Scotia. Hey,
I'm a shooter.
I'm
Don't make me shoot you.
Don't make me shoot you, Tiger. Hey.
Oh man, and I love that. Damn it. How could I have not used Canadian legend cigarette entrepreneur Dino Bravo in my fucking Canadian themed top show? By the way, I'm embarrassed.
I'm so scared when you started talking, and then you mentioned Stu. I was like, son of a bitch.
I'm embarrassed and should hand back my multiverse card. You, sir, have identified a massive flaw.
Hey, Tiger. Hey.
We both used. I love that we both went with Canadian crime.
So the camera's on Stu, and Brett walks in. What do you want me to get? What do you want me to do, boss? Bring in the Renu. You know, and he cut the Jim Neidhart getting out of the limo, and he's got like brass knuckles, and he just beats the guy, gets back in the car, and drives away.
I was gonna say, he comes in, he goes, "Hey, Dad, Dad, what do you want me to do, Dad?"
He goes, "Hey, get me Dino Bravo on the phone. Hey."
And he's like, "And we might show up for dinner and forget our manners," or whatever the fuck he says in at Canadian Stampede that's in Wrestling with Shadows.
We gotta put a guy. We gotta send Owen out to get him made.
They're always sending Owen to do the work.
Owen disappears and Brett kicks him in the door. "Where's my brother Owen?"
Send Bruce to do this. Send Bruce to do that.
God damn, I love that we use the Hart family as organized crime. That's genius. And Diana doesn't get involved, but she knows everything. And then, she shoots her husband and is like, "I'm taking his seat at the table."
You know what? I honestly think that I know we talked about rewriting Suburban Commando. I feel like we could rewrite Godfather with friggin' the Hart family and Stu as Vito, because you got Bruce is passed over. you get Bruce is passed over, and I don't know. I guess Bruce could be Sonny, and you could kill him. That would be good. And then Owen takes over, and Davey and Brett is passed over. So Brett is the Fredo character in this. Said Fredo to do this. Said Brett to do that.
Oh, sure. You need somebody to have a 5-star match in the Tokyo Dome. You send me there. That's fine. I do everything for you guys.
Tell Brett to go down. Tell Brett to go to WCW and get kicked in the head by Bill Goldberg.
I've made a couple Bill Goldberg headshot jokes before, so I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. So that's my prestige show. Would you watch Minnesota Wild?
Oh, absolutely, because I love it. Like, the last shot of the trailer would just be like Greg Gagne like sitting on a bench with no coat, and he should be freezing, but he's not because he's boiling inside, and it's like Minnesota Wild on FX.
Yep. And he takes a big pull out of a cigar.
Yeah.
And he just blows it, and you see Hogan sitting next to him. Hogan with a full head of hair up my
hair.
And Hogan's just standing there like this, and he just says, Bockwinkel.
And he'd be the breakout character that doesn't talk a whole lot, but then you gave him one scene with lines and he wins like an Emmy.
And it also makes sense that he's the Syl character because he played bass in Metallica, like Syl plays guitar in Springsteen.
He did. Some of my favorite records.
All right, my friend. And now it's time.
All right.
So the Emmy Award winning is going to win all the awards.
I'm going to give a preface. We don't do honorable mentions. That's not the point. I'm not trying to do another one. I was just going to say that keep in mind as you're listening to this, my original idea for my reality show was Finding Jimmy King. And it was going to be like a hunt for what happened to the guys who went to find King, which would have evolved into what happened to the guys who went to find the guys who found Jimmy King. And then what's happened to Jimmy King.
Please tell me it ends, though, with an Oliver Platt like special guest appearance.
It didn't get very well. It was going to be in universe. It was going to take place like as if Ready to Rumble was a true story, and it was like, where'd Jimmy King go? Where did those two guys that found him go? Maybe they're going to be living in like a sex compound in Utah or something. Oh. But just keep that in mind. I didn't mind it, but the Jimmy King thing didn't go far. Maybe
it's the Netflix reality series, like the next one. I love it.
Now, mine is a Max original, so
okay.
keep in mind, even if you don't think it's funny, it's supposed to be funny, but this is supposed to be the most serious show you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
Like, taken so seriously, like The Wire serious. It's called Torn. After being incarcerated for 34 years, former professional wrestling champion Terry "Rip" Thomas, Hulk Hogan, reprising his iconic role,
Rip Thomas, yes,
finds himself released from prison. Rip, as he's known to the general public, has been serving time after being convicted of murder in the first degree and involuntary manslaughter. Rip's fall from grace was hard, not only due to the nature of his crimes, but also because they were both committed during a widely viewed and highly promoted professional wrestling match. At the time, not only was Rip the largest star of his kind, but viewed as a pillar of his community for his public outreach and community service. Rip may be free, but he finds himself imprisoned by re-entering a world he no longer recognizes. Not only does he lack any understanding of how the modern world functions, he's constantly recognized and outcast by the generation that once worshipped him as a real-life superhero. After learning that his brother Randy has passed during his imprisonment, Rip decides life is no longer worth it. And as he's about to pull the trigger with a gun in his mouth, there's a knock on his door. A 34-year-old man arrives at his halfway house. And this man is the son that Rip never knew he had, portrayed by John Cena. Born while Rip was in jail, from a tryst that Rip once had with his former PR agent, Samantha. Special guest star, Joan Severance. And the season 1 hook would be, after coming to terms with his present, Rip seeks to clear his name by digging up evidence from the past, but draws the ire of the current head of the World Television Network, series regular Eric Bischoff, who is desperate to hide the fact that when he was interning at the World Television Network, he falsely testified against Rip in his trial.
Oh. Okay.
So, yes, it is a hyper-serious sequel to No Holds Barred.
And the Emmy goes to Johnny C for Torn.
But it's like I love the idea that it's also Hulk Hogan's like actual kind of life story.
Yeah.
In ways like, and look, I don't think he'd do a good job, but I think that it's like a kind of a dig at his life, but it's kind of not. Like, I don't know. It's kind of redonkulous. Clearly not very funny. But I thought it would be. I also thought it was a type of bullshit that HBO would try to actually do.
It doesn't have to be funny, though. I mean, the only reason that any of the stuff I do is funny or any of the stuff that either of us doing is funny is because it's so wacky. It's because we're dealing with wacky people to begin with. So they have forced us to live this way, Keith. They really have. I love it.
It's their fault.
It is their fault. It's all their damn faults.
That's right. So yeah, ending us on a downer there. I mean, but I also love the idea of someone pitching a No Holds Barred sequel and someone taking it seriously, and then it actually getting to this point.
Yeah, that's I think I like that most of all is that it's a serious. It's always good to take a serious pitch from such a redonkulous premise, Sure. And that's great. I love it.
And I even looked up, apparently the way he killed Zeus, according to the definition of murder in the first degree, what he did to Zeus would technically constitute as that because he was performing a sports entertainment exhibition and he willfully acted in a criminally negligent way.
There you go.
And so I love the idea.
It's not manslaughter; it's actual murder in the first. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's now that might have been the nerdiest thing I've ever admitted in a public forum, by the way.
That's all right.
But I was like, what if somebody really wanted to do this with the Rip character?
Sure. Why not?
The Rip character? Isn't that something he actually says in No Holds Barred? Well, the Rip character says, you should get a fucking job or something. Doesn't he say that? Tell the Rip character. Like, that might be the fucking most, realistic thing that Hulk Hogan has ever said on celluloid.
The most meta thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah. The Rip character.
He's a character playing a character who's a character.
Jesus Christ. It's like Inception. And on the bottom level of Hogan's dream, he's dropping a leg and
brother.
Like super third level of a dream, slow motion.
If while you're asleep, you see Hogan drop a leg, you know that it's a dream. That's
right. Oh, man. So that is the return of the Multiverse of Fabulousness, episode 22, Fabulousness. Keith, that was fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
As did I, yeah.
We're going to, we don't know what we're going to be bringing you next month, but I'm sure it will be vastly entertaining. Keith, anything fun happened to you recently? Anything stupid you want to talk about? Literally anything.
Well, no, I think, I had told you recently that I got to meet Jake the Snake Roberts. He came to our local watering hole, Kowloon, and he did like a one-man show, and he was really good. I mean, he's got a belly now, but he still looks good. I shook his hand. I told him it was an honor to meet him. It was great, and he told a lot of funny stories stories that I had never heard before. He was sharing stories about being a rookie and when he got hazed kind of as in a funny way as a rookie and stuff. And just, traveling, he told a Rick Rude story. He told a Jimmy Jam Gavin story. So he told a story about Terry Funk. I'll tell you this. I don't know if there's another person that does a better Terry Funk impression than Jake Roberts. Because he had the Terry Funk voice down pat. He said, "Oh, Jake, I don't know, Jake." It was so good. So, yeah.
Well, the visual helps, too, because, they don't look alike, but there is It
was great. It was really good. And, that was a lot of fun. And then, I just came out with my own first episode of my own podcast, A La Carte with Keithie, on the North-South Connection. So that was kind of a big deal for me. And, so far I think it's been a good success. I don't poke the bear. I don't ask for the numbers because, I'm out there for an audience of one, and that's whoever the hell is listening to me. So as long as I'm out there to make people laugh and entertain, that's what I'm there for. So,
well, I would definitely recommend it. I like the nature of, I don't want to call it sketch comedy because it's not, but it's not. That's really it, but
Yeah.
it's segmented conversations.
It's segment comedy.
Segmented conversation.
Yeah, and it was definitely it was perfectly stated. It's a personality driven podcast where it's really, as I put it, it's a conversation between me and a friend with whatever wacky shit comes into my head. So and that's can be, as you're well aware, it can we could have that go on for days and days and days. So yeah, and then always catch me on GFA Live with Petey and yeah, Multiverse of Fabulousness.
I can't hear anybody say the word Petey without thinking of American Pie 2.
Oh, do it for Petey, man.
My name is Petey. It's just like saying, my name is Peter. Like, it's just such a name to say with that inflection. Peter.
The rusty trombone. Yeah.
Yes. Did you, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I did.
Okay. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh my God, two very enthusiastically thumbs up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Did you cry?
I did. Actually, well, look, it's funny you should mention this. I did not bring it up to plug this, but I'm saying if you would like to listen to an entire conversation, I literally did not set this up. I feel embarrassed, but I just did a show, an episode of Junkman, my bad movie podcast. We did an emergency broadcast where we broke our own rule. It doesn't always have to be a bad movie. Because I did one on Quantum Mania, I felt like I owed the MCU an honest, open conversation about Guardians 3. So I had one with myself. And I told a story of when I did cry in the film, and I specifically cited why.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pet rabbit that died in front of me.
Ah.
Not like as an adult. Like I was driving her to a hospital, and her heart, like I think her heart exploded. Like she had a massive heart attack.
Wow.
And she like I'm not, but she got and the floor character reminded me of that rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't like animal cruelty.
No, and that was the one thing that, and I guess
should we say light spoilers? I feel like I just gave a light spoiler.
Well, it's very light spoiler, but it's not.
I apologize.
No, because I think everybody, if anybody's going to see the movie, they probably know somewhat the premise of Rocket and how. I mean,
right.
It's not like the trailers didn't really show that kind of thing.
Yeah, they showed it was going to be Rocket's story, so there are other animals in it. You get it.
But I mean, it's one of those things where whenever I see any form of animal cruelty in a movie, I always go like, was that necessary? Like, did I need to see that? Did it really advance the story? This might be the first movie that it does really advance.
Right, it does advance the story quite a bit.
So I guess you have to see it in this, but yeah, I can't. Animals and children, I can't stand when I see animals and children, getting abused of any kind, and a lot of times when I see stuff like that, I look again at the creator or the director or the writer, and I just go, why, man? Like, we didn't need to see that. That wasn't necessary. So, but yeah, I mean, I didn't full on cry, but I welled up, and I definitely felt a few droplets coming down. And it was at, I'll just say this, it was I called it the Harry Potter scene, the Harry Potter 7 or 8, the King's Cross station scene.
Oh, yes. Oh, that can still get me. It's the music they play, though. Music does it for me.
Yeah, but it was that scene in Guardians 3, and I was like, ugh. And I just, and it has a lot to do with, because of course it's all about loss, and, I think most people have had loss that they can.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to play a game real quick?
Is this War Games all of a sudden?
Would you like to play a game?
Would like to play a game.
I just did a show on the new TNN, which is what I was talking about earlier, called Cutman. I did a 2023 summer movie preview, just sort of for the big movies that are coming out this summer.
Mm-hmm.
See it in theaters. Oh, are we back? Are we still around?
We are. I think. What did you just say?
The gimmick was, would you rather go see it in like?
Oh, okay.
Like if you're gonna rank it,
yeah.
The scale was see it in theaters, rent it when it becomes immediately available theater to streaming, or would you just cut it out of your life completely and not even give a shit about it?
All right.
And you don't have to give me an explanation. I'll just do a Fast X.
Oh, cut it out of my life. I have no interest in any of those movies.
Okay. The Flash.
I'll wait for it to be available on HBO.
Ooh, The Flash was my one. Like, if I could only pick one, that's see it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, I'll be there opening night.
All right, so will I Transformers: Rise of the Beast?
I'll wait for it to come out on streaming.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it too because I want to see it, but it seems like an awfully long commitment.
I am excited though that it's a sequel to Bumblebee and not the other movies, so I like that idea because I loved Bumblebee.
So, but when I recorded the show, I said I would go see it in theaters the day it opens. Like, that was my ranking. And then literally the same day I released the show, I saw a clip and I immediately wanted to change my ranking. A 45-second clip. Yes.
Okay.
The Pete Davidson Transformer saw the gorilla Transformer and he called him Donkey Kong. And then another animal jumped on him and he said, stranger danger.
Yeah, I think the world's getting a little too saturated with Pete Davidson.
Yeah. The last two, Oppenheimer.
I think I'm going to see that in the theater. I'm gonna support the Christopher Nolan experience. Yeah.
I'm taking my son to see it. He really wants to see it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I think it's great. And Barbie.
You know, I probably will see it streaming, but there is a possibility I go to the movies because it does look like a lot of fun.
Right.
But I don't really have any. I don't have any women like in my life that like I don't have any female cousins that I would go with. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to go by myself.
Hey, I'm in the same boat, man. My caveat was I kind of want to see it in theaters, but I would feel a little like I don't know how's that going to play. What are the optics on One for Barbie, please?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And it's not a masculine thing. It's we should keep an eye on this guy thing.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, but you know what? I could probably ask it's funny. I could go with one of my friends, and he would, that's a movie right up his alley. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and he'd probably go with it with me. Go with it.
Well, it seems kind of cleverly intelligent.
Sure. Which is why I'll definitely watch it if it's streaming.
Right.
Like I said, there's a possibility I'll go to it. So.
The fact that they go to the real world is not the direction I would have wanted it to take. I would have wanted like a whole 2 hours in like the Barbie world. Because that seems funny because they don't understand what sex is.
Now, are you jazzed up about Ahsoka?
Yeah, I am. My son has gotten into Star Wars, so I've recently rewatched a lot of them. And it's so funny hearing his interpretation of these things. He's after he finished A New Hope, he's like, Dad, like A New Hope was okay. And but here's the thing. My son has good taste. I get it though. I mean, think about how hard it must be to watch it. Because he watched them in chronological order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think he's on 6 now. And I almost regret telling him to watch them that way. But I always thought that if I could have, I would have preferred it that way.
Yeah.
But he's like, the lightsabers look really bad.
You can't watch. Unsee it. You can't unsee the first lightsaber duel. And then even the second one, although Empire is not as bad, but you can't unsee those after watching the first 3 movies. Like episode 1, 2, and 3.
I've never been more proud of my son in his life. He said, Dad, does Empire Strikes Back do the thing with the lightsabers? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, in episode 4, every time they had to turn on a lightsaber, they'd cut because they couldn't do it, obviously. And I was so proud that he understood the science behind the choice made by the filmmakers given the constraints of the time.
There's actually there's this video going around on like Instagram, TikTok, like all social media where they recut the first lightsaber duel.
We watched it.
Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. And
I agree.
The Alec Guinness face deepfake is a little dodgy at best, but they do a pretty good job having him have like his hood on the whole time. Yeah,
they did a good job of I don't want to say mimic because mimic sounds like dirty, but they did a good job of capturing the style of George Lucas directing the prequels in their fight choreography.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
and whether or not one thinks that's good, what's bad, or whatever, that's when you're trying to put something into the film. That's what you have to do. There's a science behind it.
Sure.
Is anybody still listening to the wrestling podcast? The science of making a fake Star Wars, but there's a science.
But I think there is, yeah, and I think that you'd be surprised how much crossover there is in the wrestling world, and then also in the Star Wars universe. So, you'd be surprised.
But I am excited for Ahsoka. I tried to start watching Rebels, but it just is very much more kiddie than the Clone Wars was, even.
Yeah.
But I did watch every Bo-Katan episode of Clone Wars. I'd never seen it before, and I was very pleased.
Yeah. No.
But you watched Mandalorian?
Oh, yeah.
So Paz Vizsla has a dad named Pre Vizsla.
Yeah.
Pre, as in previous, or Pre-Viz.
I mean, what do you want?
Dave Filoni's a little up his own ass sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, a little bit.
I don't know. I just, I think those are the main things, though. I mean, definitely, listen to Chronoso Daily, listen to New Gen on a Mission, Wrestling Warzone, Wrestling Above Replacement. I'm Jenny Position on every Wednesday. It's a different affair.
Yep.
Speaking of a different affair, this has nothing to do with Jenny. I was just going to say that my RIP No Holds Barred sequel was definitely influenced by the fact that I've been watching Fatal Attraction. Because in the remake, dude tries to prove he didn't kill Lizzie Kaplan, but that's the hook. Like, I'm not spoiling it. That's the hook. You find that in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a reimagining of Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But I do think that all that being said, you should check out everything here on No So. If I left out any shows, I apologize. Oh, Ruthlessly Aggressive.
You heard about Pluto?
Yes, heard about Pluto.
Yep.
Hey, did you watch Picard? Since this is North-South related, did you watch, but no spoilers, did you watch Picard season 3?
I have not yet.
Oh.
It's on, I know, it's on my short list. It is. It's on my short list.
Hey.
I actually just, what I just started watching is on Netflix is Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. That I think it just ended at season 3.
Is it good?
It is. It's interesting. It's really dark comedy because it's about like his wife dies, and you learn that in the first 5 minutes too. Sure. So it's not, but his wife dies, and it's about him like trying to get over, being a widow now and stuff. And so it's funny, but it's also like just that really dark, twisted comedy. So, but it's like it's a half an hour. That's why I watch. See, that's the thing is that I like half-hour stuff because I can bang like right through it, Right. Whereas I feel like an hour is a commitment. So, but I'm gonna jump on Picard.
It's worth it, man. It's totally worth it.
I know it is. I love Picard. I mean,
I like the Ricky Gervais movie about lying, so I might check that show out.
yeah. Invention.
I thought that was pretty fucking clever.
It's a great movie. That was a great movie. So yeah.
So
but,
all right, well, I think
my friend,
we appropriately shilled everything. Leave us a like, whatever.
Sure.
Thumbs up if you're here on the YouTubes or if you're just listening. All that being said, I'm Johnny C. He's Keithie Langston, and a winner is you. We'll see you next time.